Hello. Right, picture 7. I like this picture as well. This is kind of taken from the opposite end of where the last one took, so it should be in your screen in your left hand side now. If you look at this picture, I mean, this is, you know, on the last picture, you know where the railway bridge went across, and on the right hand side of that, where I said the road bridge was, there's a, there's a path that runs all the way along on the right, so you could walk from one end of the canal to the other. Well, this is taken, stood actually just under that bridge, so I'm kind of looking back as to where I took picture 6. If you look on the right hand side, there's that, that big wall going across. And obviously you've got like a little wall, and you can just see like a little pathway with some steps running up. Well, where them steps are just running up, you can see that like little railings. Well, just above there, that's roughly where our wall used to be. I mean, it's gone now, so but it's like a little bit of an embankment, and that's where that piece of wall is as well from the previous photo you saw. That's where that is. So this is kind of looking on the right. So on the right is where our house used to be, and then if you look as well, you can see the Telewest building as well. That's there now, with a big mast on there, which is quite strange because I've got Telewest, and to think that it's in the place where I was born is a bit strange. But that's just me and a nostalgia trip. If you look dead ahead, you can see like a bridge. You can just see like the metalwork of the bridge kind of goes up, and then goes up again and across, and then it's got like like wire slats. Well, that bridge there is the bridge on the top of Shirland Lane, which kind of went across. So if we walked along there, I could see our house and our yard, and we used to spend many a time just staring over there and staring at our house and playing a game, which I'm going to explain in a minute. So this is what I wrote for picture 7. This is taken looking back from picture 6. On the right, where the walkway heads towards the road, would probably have been our yard. The walls have gone now, and a new one built for the trams. In the foreground remains the same bridge we've stood on a few times, lobbing house bricks over the top of the fencing just to listen to the splash. Right. What we used to do is we used to get bricks or stones or rocks wherever we could, and we'd walk along the middle bridge, and we could just about lift them over the top to the bridge and drop them in. Now this game we called Fatu Wench, right? And the reason being is because that's what the sound made. We were fascinated. It's like you got the biggest brick you could find, one of you, two of you, push it over the top to go over the top of the bridge, and we just watch it drop. And when it hit the water, it went Fatu Wench, and that was the impression that we got. So that's what we call the game, Fatu Wench. Try it. Look, I know you think it's silly, but try it. Get a big brick and just drop it over a bridge and listen to the sound it makes, especially if it's got a flat bottom. Trust me. That's what you'll call it. Anyway, so that's what we used to do, and we spent many a time doing that, and then just watching the ripples ripple out. I mean, talk about entertainment as a kid. Anyway, where I'm stood now, to the left of the bridge, where the picture's a little bit dark, it was kind of, when I took these pictures originally, it was just kind of an afterthought that I did, and it was going a little bit dark. I think it was winter, and I think it was about 3:30, and obviously the sun was setting, as you can see on the wall. But to the left of the bridge, where the picture is dark on the bank, was a small form. This is true. On the previous pictures, we've seen the pylon, the big pylon. Just under there, there was like it was like a form. It was, I'm saying a form. The actual building was made out of corrugated sheeting, like that ripple stuff, and it was all jet black. I can't remember if it was painted or whether that was just what happened with the steelworks. But it was like a little hut, and then he'd got fencing, like little fencing he'd made all the way around, and he'd got different pens. And I remember he had chickens, and I think he might have had some pigs as well, and some other few bits and pieces, and an allotment for growing stuff, and a horse. He had this big old, I think it was some it was a Shetland pony or whatever, but it was a big old horse that used to be kind of like tended on a rope, but it could walk all the way around, and I gather it ate the grass and kept the grass down. I can't remember what the guy's name was. He's a really old guy. He must have been in his early 70s when we were little. I remember he used to sit, and he used to have what are these black pot-belly stoves, like they're the little ones with the little lid you used to take off the top, and you could put your teapot or whatever, your pan on, and the fire would come out. And then the chimney was kind of go up so far, then bend to the right, and then come right out the roof. And it was always smoke coming out of it. So he must have spent most of his days if he retired there. Incidentally, if anybody remembers his name or knows who he was, or any relation, and you know, send me an email, because I'd love to know, because I can't remember his name. You know, we never knew. We just for years we used to watch him, you know, and just walking up and down, and then I suppose we got the courage one day to go and talk to him, you know, because my brother was older. He invited us in, and we used to sit, and he used to tell us about the old days, and you know, and the war, and what he'd done and whatnot. And it was fascinating. It was great, and it was like an adventure, because you know, we were allowed to go in and see him, and nobody else was. And anyway, I always remember one thing, and this was a story he told us, right? And here we go. Right, to the left of the bridge, where the picture is dark, just in front of the pylon. There wasn't a lot there, just a few goats and chickens, I wrote it, and a horse. An old bloke used to sit in a black corrugated shed which had a small fire stove in it. And he once told us a story once about a woman who was walking down the road towards the bridge, and she was carrying 2 big bags of shopping laden with shopping that lived there. Excuse me. And as she was passing the wall, she looked over, because you know, the horse sometimes used to be near the wall, and she kind of like, you know, went, ooh, you know, horse, you know, to the horse to come over, and so the horse did. It came trotting over, as it always did whenever it went past to be stroked, and just when it got within patting distance, it dropped out its dopper. This is what I'm writing it as he told us, right? And apparently the woman, right, screamed, dropped her shopping, and ran. And whether the story was true or not, I don't know, but it stuck in my mind, and it was just, you know, it was just funny as a kid. We were just laughing, and it one of the things, you know, I could just picture it and imagine it in my mind just how it went. But I don't know. I think I'd love to have been there to see it. But apparently that's what happened. And we used to go in there regularly and chat to this guy, but I can't really remember much detail of what he used to say, but it'd be quite nice to know who it was. Anyway, it's gone now. It's just the grass banking. As far as I can remember, the shed's gone. You know, the pens have gone, and it's just a bit of banking that's overgrown now. So, bit of a shame. I don't know, I never got to find out who he was, and when I went back again, like I said, it had gone, but it would have been quite nice to pop it, or just to look at it, take some photographs. But anyway, so that's the picture. Like I said, as you can see the actual width of the canal as well, so you can understand when throwing something from our wall, just how difficult it was to get it to the other side, especially when you got, you know, tiny arms, I suppose. But I like this photograph. I mean, I've looked at one that somebody's posted. I think it was a link from, I typed in Sheffield history on Google and the canal, and the actual photograph they've got there is on the right hand side. All the banking's all really, you know, grown with trees, and on the left they've got trees as well growing on the banking, so it looks quite nice and, you know, rustic when you walk down it. It's quite nice. And anybody in Sheffield or whatever that's never done it, I mean, I haven't done it for years, but just walk. You can walk, you know, from the canal basin in Sheffield town right to the other end where tins are on the logs. And on a nice day, it's really, really nice. It's good. I'm going back this year. I'm going home this year in hopefully August, and I'm gonna walk it. I'm gonna go take my camera and I'm gonna walk it and take photographs all the way along and what I remember of the steelworks, because I'd love to do it, and I've just never had the time before. But I'm setting time aside this time. So anyway. That was picture 7. Thank you.